So many people have speculated over Hale's motives. Well, now we're learning that doctors knew at least 5 years before the Covenant School shooting that Hale had suicidal thoughts specifically about school shootings.
Let's go!
We know more now about what happened that March day than ever before. But what's never been clear is why.
Did she have homicidal ideations ever?
4 hours after one of the deadliest school shootings in state history, Metro Nashville police had questions for the shooter's parents.
Did she ever mention these things to you guys at all?
It was in her writings?
She was speaking with a physician or a therapist or someone.
By now, the shooter was dead, but police knew Audrey Hale had a history of mental health issues, and maybe that's why Hale, a former Covenant student, killed 6 people in that school.
Through any of the treatment she went through, any of the therapists, if you're able to say so, did they ever express to you guys that she was having homicidal ideations or anything like that?
None of her therapists ever felt that they had like a duty to warn anybody. I don't think
Only when she had suicidal ideation they had
her well-being.
Right.
It's not clear from the short clips of this interview that we have whether Hale's parents felt Vanderbilt doctors could have done more if they knew Hale was a threat to others.
They're only as good as the law allows them to be.
News Channel 5 legal analyst Nick Leonardo says that no different than attorney-client privilege, Hale's doctors were required to keep their conversations confidential, unless, of course, there was an immediate threat.
So is there liability on Vanderbilt? That's going to be determined by what did they know and when did they know it. And that's information that you really can't get into because it's privileged.
This police report obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates shows doctors told Hale's parents sometime between 5 and 8 years before that Hale needs to go to Vanderbilt Psychiatric Hospital because she is talking about suicidal ideations, specifically about school shootings. Hale wasn't admitted to the psychiatric hospital, but did receive some treatment. The Tennessee Star recently published journal entries where Hale wrote, "For 5 years, I planned to die. Now I am finally ready to go." This was 2 weeks before Covenant, where Hale also wrote, "I want my massacre to end in a way that Eric and Dylan would be proud of." Detectives said Hale was obsessed with the 2 teens responsible for the 1999 Columbine school shooting, where 13 people were killed.
So she saw the documentary for the Columbine shooting, and she said something along the lines of how she felt close to them, how she could empathize with them and how they felt.
Hale's parents said they knew nothing about an obsession with Columbine or anything else written in the journals.
I never read any of them.
Right, and I just didn't know if she expressed. It's just kind of like the thing we have to ask, just
Well,
because.
the thing is, I just figured this is part of the therapeutic.
Oh, I see.
So I thought this was part of the therapeutic process.
Columbine may have given Hale the idea to attack a school, but it still didn't explain why Covenant.
Did she speak about her experience at Covenant School at all?
Sure.
Did it appear to be a positive
It's
experience?
very positive.
There was very little mention of Covenant in this journal, which appears to be Hale's final writings. What we found instead had more to do with what Hale's parents said was a fixation with death after the loss of a friend that, quote, she worshipped her whole life. "I know Sydney is waiting for me. My time is coming soon to leave this realm behind, all my pain and all that I have except you," Hale wrote. Hale's parents say they never noticed any changes in behavior, but it raises another important question. How does someone with a well-known history of suicidal thoughts, a fixation on school shootings and death, get access to firearms?
If that's not a wake-up call for the people in America with the power to make change, I don't know what is.
On at least one occasion, the shooter bought firearms, then sold them, forced to by Hale's parents. Therapists met with Hale and they agreed she should not have weapons, but it's not clear if anything was documented. Leonardo says this is where lawmakers could pass a law that would allow healthcare professionals to raise concerns about a patient's access to guns without jeopardizing patient privacy.
The General Assembly could take actions to where we could make referrals, soften that privilege, or it could be reported to a database that is also confidential.
If you look at what Hale said and wrote, it was clear years ago that something was wrong. We still don't have a clear motive for Covenant, but Leonardo says just as important as understanding why the shooting happened is understanding how we can keep this from happening again.
There's been no indication yet from Metro Nashville Police on when we can expect the criminal case to close, which could make some of Hale's writings linked to that case available to the public. Other writings, however, remain sealed after a ruling earlier this year. Attorneys are expected to appeal that case depending on what we find once the criminal case is closed. With News Channel 5 Investigates, I'm Levi Ismail.